welcome back to Good Morning Football. Our next guest has 3 rings as a Super Bowl champion as an assistant coach. He is now seeking his first as a head coach. It is in his 3rd season with the Detroit Lions. Let's welcome up the head man out there in Detroit, Matt Patricia. Welcome.
Let's go.
Good Morning Football.
Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. We're back at it. We're ready to roll. We're excited, and we got our jerseys up, and we're just trying to stay on pace with you guys.
I wasn't going to mention it. It's just back there dangling. When you go through the Hall of Fame of jerseys, where does Burleson's rank in Lions lore? Can you give us the rankings?
I mean, I'm right there. Like I said, I got Barry, and then we're going right to Burleson right there. I mean, we're just gonna put it up in the background, and we're gonna roll. I did find I was looking in the equipment room, but I did find this. I'm not really sure where this came from, but eventually at one point, I think maybe you were here trying to.
Hold it up.
Is that a rookie mini camp shirt? I don't think. Obviously, it didn't last, so
That's awesome.
we couldn't really get it up there. So.
Oh my God!
Undrafted,
Never left the
was going
cafeteria,
for that long snapper job. Yeah, cafeteria working, whatever it was. Don Muleback beat me out for that long snapper job. I was right there, though. It was good.
We used to call it the hiker back then, so that was the hiker.
Now it's the long snapper. That's it. We're having fun, but I know these last few weeks must be. I was going to say, we must be refreshing for you to be back in the building. So, Coach, just give us the lay of the land. How has it been coming back? I know you're back with your friends and your colleagues, but it's got to be a little weird, no?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different. The building is obviously as safe as we can make it and trying to continually change certain things. But I'd say the biggest, obviously, great part of all of this is getting back and seeing people and getting a chance to see everybody's faces and, a little bit of elbow bump or fist bump, but that's about as close as we get. But just being around the guys again. Our building right now, kind of in this phase 1, we have the team broken up into a couple different groups that come through and they work out. And, just from that standpoint, it's just good. We haven't seen everybody all together yet. We're still waiting to get to that point. But just great to be around the guys. Great to see work. Great to get out on a practice field and watch guys run around.
Sounds like you guys are taking it slow, taking it easy, which we like. I so appreciate your sense of humor, your attitude, your positive in the face of all of this adversity. Let's face it, this can't be easy. And you, particularly, were really hands-on with some of these adjustments you made in the light of COVID-19. What are some of those around the facility as you are in the thick of it now in training camp? And what were you really focusing on with that?
Yeah, I mean, everything has changed in the building, and we've taken a lot of time to really, assess that and see what we can do. One of the things when I looked at the schedule that came out for us as far as how do we bring everybody back in the building, we just made the decision to stay at our 90-man roster. I didn't think it was really appropriate at that time to try to get to 80. I haven't even seen some of these guys, 10 guys hadn't even walked in the building to be evaluated. So I think that put us in a little bit of a difficult situation. I know with some of the rules, you could bring all 80 in at the same time, but again, felt that we have guys that have worked really hard through the spring to go out and compete for jobs and thought it was important to have all 90 in. So with that being said, we, per the rules, broke the group up into 2 main groups and then really divided it into really 4 teams after that. So the building is constantly moving. It's a rotation of 4 sets of groups coming through the building to be able to work out, get their strength training in, get their conditioning in. And then we're still doing meetings at night virtually, just trying to get through this 10 to 14 day acclimation period of also the COVID testing, where we can really try to flatline anything as far as guys coming back that may have tested positive and just try to keep the building as safe as possible. In the building, completely different. We have all new setups. We have, the locker room was probably one of the biggest adjustments we made, trying to space those lockers out. Every other locker, we have plexiglass in between each locker. We put a bunch of brand new lockers in the middle of the locker room just to try to give everybody a safer feel in the building.
Coach, you've had a few players who decided to opt out of the 2020 season, and it's tricky because as a coach, you don't necessarily want them to opt out. You want players, you want to win games, and yet you want them to do the right thing for them. So what was your message to your guys on the topic of opting out of the season?
I mean, really, honestly, for me, it's just I got to support our guys. You know, whatever those decisions are they have to make. Certainly, we wanted to educate everybody as much as possible and let them know what our plan is to try to keep everybody safe. But certainly, from that standpoint, you know, there's going to be circumstances outside the building that are certainly weighed heavily into these factors, and I need to listen, and we need to understand, and really just be very compassionate. These aren't easy decisions. You know, I think I had a player that wanted to opt out. He called, and really at that point, I just went right over to the hotel. I sat down with him and I listened, and my heart just went out to him for what a difficult decision this was going to be, and what he was going to have to do. But, you know, putting family is critically important to put that first, and making sure that everyone is safe and healthy at home. And obviously we love this game, and you know, football is our passion. But when you're talking about, you know, families and people and safety and concerns, you have to respect that. You have to listen, and you have to support people. So that was the biggest thing for me. I just wanted them to know, hey, you know, we're going to try to educate you as much as we can on what we've done to hopefully you feel safe. But, you know, if you need to talk and you have to make decisions that are best for you and your family, we got to understand that. We got to support it and just go forward.
Well said, Coach, and let me commend you for showing up and showing that support for your players. Speaking of one of your players, Matt Stafford, he's back with the squad after reportedly testing positive for a false positive COVID-19 test. I don't know how that necessarily works, but how did that all go down from your perspective, and how is my guy Matt Stafford doing?
Yeah, Stafford's great. You know, certainly a very unique, difficult situation to go through for him and his family, and obviously the team. And really through the entire process, you know, our biggest concern was just, number one, you know, we get the information to make sure that he's okay, make sure Kelly's okay, make sure their family's okay. You know, that's the number one thing. They have obviously a wonderful family. They have, you know, a newborn baby, and you know, the biggest thing was just to make sure they were all right. And then from there, you know, we tried to go through and do everything we could to double check and push forward and look at protocols and see what we could do to try to, you know, expedite anything that we saw maybe that was inaccurate. And, you know, from that standpoint, we just pushed forward. But really, you know, I think for me, Stafford's an amazing guy. I've talked about it plenty of times of just, you know, how wonderful I think he is, how tough, you know, how great of a player, great of a guy. But certainly when things start to affect you outside the building, they affect your family. They affect, you know, just your everyday life. We got to just be there to support and do everything we can to help.
Coach, it's not every year we see a cornerback taken in the top 5. You guys took Jeff Okudah. You've now had a chance to see him in the flesh. You didn't get OTAs, but you've had a couple days to watch him do some workouts. What's he like? What are first impressions? And with Darius Slay now being moved to Philadelphia, can Jeff Okudah step up and be that number 1 guy?
Well, you know, I mean, I think with all rookies, just in general for us, we're just trying to get them in the building. You know, really right now they're still with the strength and conditioning, you know, workouts. So on the field work, they're, you know, with the strength coaches, and they're lifting in the weight room. So we're still yearning for that time to get out there and work and do some fundamental drills. You know, seeing them obviously in a couple walkthrough settings, but that's really about it. So we'll just kind of, you know, understand that the rookie class this year it's going to take a little while. They're kind of behind with not having the spring and not having some of those fundamental periods that we usually get into during the course of the spring to be able to hit training camp, you know, on the run. So I'd say right now the workouts feel a lot like spring from that standpoint with the strength staff. The meetings feel like training camp. That's the best part. Jeff's been great, you know, as far as that is concerned. He wants as much information. He wants knowledge. He wants to be the best player he can be. And from that standpoint, you know, you love guys like that just love football. And, you know, we got a long way to go with it, but certainly his drive, you know, his enthusiasm, his just wanting to win and be the best is something that I love. And I got to do everything possible to try to help him achieve that.
We're excited, Coach. Let's keep the rookie talk going. When you draft a running back out of Georgia, that comes with some high expectations. Let's talk DeAndre Swift here. What do you think, how will he impact this team year 1 on a scale of 1 to Barry Sanders?
Okay, that's a, you know, pretty finite scale. I'm glad you narrowed it down for me right there. You know, obviously with running backs out of Georgia, you know, certainly great players coming out of there. I think no one was probably happier than our quarterback that we got another Bulldog in the building. But Swift was a great, you know, addition for us in that pick. And obviously when that came up, we tried to do everything we could to just hold our breath till we were able to get him. But similar, in the Okudah fashion, we're just got to get out in the field and get going. Running back positions, especially rookies, I feel like those are hard adjustments for those guys, especially the longevity of the season. Certainly go through the first 10 games and it'll look about what you thought it was supposed to. And then, you get to the rest of that NFL season and you're still grinding through 6 more games. That looks different than maybe the college season. So for us, it's about just trying to do everything we can to put them in positions to hopefully help us win. But certainly at this point, we're still just trying to evaluate, everything maybe that he can do for us as we go forward.
Coach, I'm just going to speak for all 4 of us here. We would get such a thrill in this crazy season this fall to see the Honolulu Blue make a run, get deep into the playoffs, get to the Super Bowl. We all would love to see it happen, especially since, Coach, you're the first guest ever to hang Nate's jersey behind you, especially now. You could easily sell that, Matt, and get $15. And if Nate signs it, you can get 10. So, that's cash money in your pocket right there.
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of text messages just during the course of this interview. So I think we actually might be up to 100 on eBay. But for me, it's priceless. I'm going to keep that. I'm going to cherish it. And, we would all love to see the Honolulu Blue at the end of the season. And if that happens, then I'll throw my ukulele in there and then we'll roll.
Yeah!
Let's go.
I know 3 chords, so I'm good. I got 3 chords now. Yeah, all through quarantine, I figured out 3 chords.
Figured out 3 words. Over the rainbow, I'm sure you're working on it. And I know fans will be over the rainbow as well. Coach, thank you for doing this. We appreciate you coming on. I know you got a busy day and a busy few weeks ahead. I echo Kyle, and I know Kay and Nate does as well. We'd love nothing more than to see us talking about the Lions in late December this season.
Well, I appreciate you guys. You guys are the best, and thanks for having me on.
All right, Lions coach.
No,
Matt
you're the
Patricia.
best.
Okay,
Coach
there he
Matt
is.
Patricia, come back anytime. I got to see some of that tape from Schrager at the long snapping audition. Can we dig that up for your next visit? Hopefully we can. More Good Morning Football on the way.
Hey! Okay, Shrakes. That's good.